gonna do anything else.
I was gonna say, don't forget to hit record.
You
Yeah.
can't really edit them like the other ones, right?
I mean, you can, it's just more annoying.
Yeah.
What's it called? The Spotify, the Anchor software was much easier to use because I could just move stuff. I could just basically like drag a slider exactly where I wanted to like delete or edit something, and it's harder to do that with the Riverside stuff. So I mostly just leave it in there.
There are other podcasts that do that all the time, so it's just normal.
Well, it says on the thing, only, how did I word it? Only edited when necessary. Something
There's
like that.
one that I watch where they do live streams and then they post the live streams, but even in the edited posted version, it's like stream will start soon and they do like a minute and a half or like a 40-second countdown and I'm like, why? This is not live.
That's a long countdown.
Yeah, I'm like, can we just start the video? I'd rather just do that.
We do, when I remember on YouTube when like the episode airs, I think we do a 2 minute countdown, something like that.
Well, okay, never mind then.
I can't remember. I don't, cause it lets the 100 people in the world that give a shit, know that the episode's about to be available.
Well,
I don't know.
that's different
I don't
than
care either way.
does it play at the beginning of the video though? Like or you just mean announcing it?
No. I mean, like, I guess you get like, if you follow us, you get a notification from YouTube, like premieres in 2 minutes, like that kind of thing.
That's funny. Well, that's definitely different. That makes more sense. Although 2 minute warning is like, I guess that's a notification, not really a warning.
It might be a minute. I think I could pick, and I don't remember which one I picked. I haven't done any of that stuff in a while. I haven't done this in a while. I feel like we took a break and didn't mean to.
I know. I kind of forgot we took that break too because I was just thinking like, why does it feel like it's been so long?
Yeah.
Well,
Are we before we get too into it? Are we gonna like recap stuff from last time or
yeah, I think we have to, at
okay?
least a little bit.
Yeah, because we missed half of what we were actually saying.
Yeah, I hit the record button. So yeah, I think we have to recap at least until the weirdness hits. Where did we start this one? Somewhere in the town, Ev Hillman? Is that where it started?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad in a way, I'm glad we didn't really get to that last time because I definitely, like, I was speed reading a lot of that last, like, 50 pages or so, and I missed, like, everything because I went back and reread it. I'm like, oh, wow, that was a whole different story.
Yeah,
All of the Ruth stuff that you were talking about.
this book is cursed. We've had a hard time doing it. Yeah, and
Just wanted to tell us something.
it's, you can tell, at times it's a little rambly. I'm like, okay, did I need 30 pages of Sissy just to disappear?
I know.
Well, I guess we can't start there, but,
But to be fair, he usually, like, does it, I guess a level of world building, character development, character building. So it could feel like a lot at once as opposed to a lot over time.
Yeah. Well, and
yeah,
hers I
yeah.
actually appreciated. And
I
I mean,
I agree.
we can get to that when we get further in the section, but yeah.
I mean,
But
the recap shouldn't be too hard. Go
like still, I'm actually at the same part. Like her doing lines definitely made me think he was doing lines too.
Yeah, why was that? Yeah, that didn't fit her character. I didn't understand. It's like she was, I think the last time we saw her, before she ran into Bobby, she was laying in the bed staring at the ceiling because she was so fucking wired, gritting her teeth.
I
Instead
mean,
of, and like just plotting her revenge on Bobby. Yeah, we'll get to her.
Yeah.
yeah, I have lots of things to say about her, but it comes down to control.
She, apparently, have been running that family even from the time she was like 9 or some shit. Anyway, so I guess, we have done this once and I forgot to hit record. So we're going to do this. We're going to do the quick version, I guess. Um, I do have 25 minutes from last time when I finally did remember hit record, but I don't know. I might just leave that in the archives. I don't know.
Yeah.
Then I
And
have
I
to
don't,
start editing because that kind of starts like halfway through, so I don't even know how to
yeah, I
do
don't
that.
remember what exactly we actually talked about once it started recording.
Who knows? So, the Tommyknockers. This book, makes you think, like it introduces you first to, Bobby, and you're kind of like following her. I
For a
guess my
long
point is like,
time.
you think she's the protagonist and then she's not. She,
I,
she's,
I
she's kind of the antagonist actually.
think that was something we said last time where it was like, it was cool and all, but we could have just like skipped to the part where Guard shows up. Like, I don't know if we needed all of that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think you could go either way with that because it shows that, once upon a time she was a normal person. Because if you had just jumped into Guard, remembering like, oh, like, but she's not my Bobby anymore. She used to be this and she used to do that, and I used to love her so much. And if you don't see that from her side, you're like, but was that ever true? Because he's drunk 90% of the story, so
That's a very
that's
fair
Shit.
not
point.
reliable.
What's above 99? That's how all of a sudden he's drunk.
Yeah.
That makes my head hurt thinking about how much he drinks. Jesus.
Ugh. Yeah.
Uh, it makes
Makes
me wonder, but anyway, how much
about King.
how much was he
Yeah.
drinking at the
I
time?
was thinking
Jesus.
that too, 'cause he writes himself into every single story.
Yeah, and Gardner was doing some serious drinking. I mean,
And
he went on a
called
bender and then went on a bender while on a bender. Like,
the what is it? What did Sissy call him? The great poet.
Mm.
yeah, did you listen to the audiobook? I love the way she's a great poet.
Yeah.
There's such like cynicism in the guy's voice. I get stuck sometimes. I'm trying to use the audiobook and like, cause I follow the Kindle, like I read it while it's audiobooking, you know what I mean?
hmm
So sometimes Kindle decides that I want the assistive reader. So it's like a robot, like female voice reading instead of the audiobook.
No, I hate that.
So, yeah, oh, yeah, it's awful. I don't know why that's a thing. Well,
I
I
can't.
guess if you're blind, it's great. But I would still
There's
audiobook it. No,
well,
yeah.
yeah. I'm like, wait, use the audiobook though.
Yeah.
There's so many videos that have AI voice now, and I just can't watch them. I'm like, I just want to hear a real voice. I hate that robot voice.
On YouTube, I run into that a lot. Nope.
That's what
As
I
soon as I
mean.
hear the
Yeah.
AI voice, I'm out. Nope. Okay. It can be AI if I don't know, cause I was going to say it needs to be human, but I'm sure there's something that I think is human that isn't. So, uh, I can't
Could
know
be a
that it's
Tommy
not
knocker.
human. Uh, by the way, Michelle, okay, so what's a Tommyknocker? Like before,
I
outside of this book, was it ever anything or is it like I think
the
in the book it was just like a kid's fairy tale that Guard reappropriated to call these aliens. Oh yeah, by the way, it's an alien ship. I guess we gave that up right away.
Well, remember, that is one thing we talked about. Like, I didn't remember the first time I read this that it was so obvious from the beginning. I thought there was like a little bit more suspense, and then Bobby's like, alien ship." I'm like, "What? You
I
can't even
thought,
see it."
yeah, I thought the town went nuts and we had no idea what was going on until like they find the hatch and you're like, it's a ship.
Yeah,
And then you're like, oh shit. Uh, that's not the way it went at all. It was like page two. It was like, oh, it's a UFO or it's an alien ship. Like, oh, okay. Well,
and
I
I
guess
take
that's not
issue.
part of the suspense.
Yeah, exactly. We know what the Tommyknockers are. But I take issue with the this whole like because it is now starting to be unearthed, it's now seeping out or whatever it is, this power or whatever is seeping out of it, radiation. I'm like, that's not really how radiation works. Like, what was stopping it? The dirt?
Hypothetically.
I just don't
I
think.
mean, is radiation the right word for whatever the hell this shit is?
To me, it's a combination of like radiation and energy, I guess, power. Well, that is what like nuclear. Yeah,
Yeah, that's what it's compared to for the entire book, nuclear.
and the green. I guess I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there was somebody was talking at some point in one of the characters about like the history of the area. Maybe it was like the pilot or something, how it was like notorious to be, like a dead spot or something.
Yeah. Well, and that I
Yeah.
think that was even in the technically the first part of this section that we read in Ev's part where he's talking about like yeah, like the history of the town and compasses have never worked and you keep getting lost in the woods even if you're like a seasoned hunter and all that.
Yeah, that guy who like
Like
I don't
fell asleep and woke up and
yeah.
didn't see the same sky.
Yep. Ugh. I hate that feeling. I never want that to happen to me, for the
Yeah,
record.
he did what? He did what?
He fell asleep in the woods and fell asleep for a lot longer than he intended. And when he woke up, he thought he was following the North Star, and it was like a completely different star.
It's like some
Ah,
Callahan stuff, actually. I just realized.
right. That sounds like something that happened in a tower because you're like in a different world. Wrong
Yeah.
star. That's Old Mother, not fucking North Star.
Well, and I did catch in this book too, and I don't know if it was a retrofit or what, but they have said like, oh, it's destiny or Ka or and like the world is a wheel, and I'm like, this is Tower.
I
Hmm.
mean, I think this is, what is this? 86, 88. Um, I think he was involved in Tower on the Brain at that point, if this isn't necessarily a Tower, book.
Well, it's all
This is
Tower. Like, even
everything. One,
before
much,
he knew it was Tower, it was Tower. That's the whole thing.
right? Turns out it was all the Tower.
I have to
I
go
don't see
back
a
at
published date.
on the book.
I was looking for a published date at the beginning. I have the audio book, not the Kindle book here. I don't see a published date in the beginning.
1987, but I don't know if that's the first year or something.
Yeah,
Well,
that
yeah,
sounds about right.
it's copyright 1987.
So 87 would have been after the Wastelands. Is that right?
I have no clue.
Sure.
uh,
Mm,
no,
maybe not.
I thought it was the 90s when those came out.
Yeah, I think Wizard and Glass was 96 and the Wastelands was about, yeah, this was before the Wastelands.
There is an It reference though, which is funny.
Oh,
Oh
I
yeah.
did see that. Something about a clown, something, something.
He was hallucinating because he saw a clown with a white glove holding balloons.
Yeah. And Chuckles coming out of drain pipes.
Just lucky his name isn't Melon. It could have went really worse.
I was standing. We went for a walk yesterday, and I was standing. It was daylight, so that's probably why. But I was standing next to an open sewer grate and like staring down into the like hole. And I was like, I've come so far. Look at me standing here with no fear.
Well, I'm not sure about
Uh,
the no fear part. We'll get to it.
well, there was definitely fear, but it was like, you can't overcome me. I'm gonna stand here.
There's
I
one sewer grate in the entire town.
I kind of did that too. We have a lost cat in our neighborhood, and I've been
Oh
like keeping an eye in the sewer drains and stuff because that's where they said like she sometimes hides down there. So, if
God.
Katie sniffs down there or something, I'll look and I'm like, I don't want to look, but I have to look
Yeah.
because I feel bad for this cat.
I would probably do it for a cat, but that sounds like a nightmare because you're looking for eyes in a dark man like sewer.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I want to find that.
Also, I have to go back and double check because I was audiobooking that section. But is that a Pet Cemetery reference? Or like is that the
Where
same that's the wrong way to put it, but is it the same forest that is in Pet Cemetery? Because they mentioned Ludlow and they mentioned the tribe, the Indian tribe, and how he cursed the land.
I might have, I don't even know that I caught that.
I don't remember where it would have to
If it's,
find it.
I mean, Pet Cemetery is Ludlow, right? I mean, so it almost has to be.
I think so. Do you know when that one
Indian
came out?
tribes. He did everything but say when to go. Jesus.
Exactly. He said the name of the tribe, but I don't want to. I don't remember what it was, so I don't want to say. It.
Well, be a little careful. Allie hasn't read it, right?
No, not yet.
Well, I mean, you have to know the land is cursed. How else is this? I guess you don't know that detail, but spoilers, it's cursed.
Right.
I mean, I kind of figured as much. Like
Native
I've seen the
Americans and
80s
all their
movie.
burial grounds.
Yeah, I know the premise. I've seen the 80s movie, but yeah, I just haven't actually like read it yet.
The 80s movie's pretty close. Although I think, uh, they cut Judd's wife out of the movie and he's in the book. she's in the book or she's in a new movie or
Oh, I feel like I barely
not.
remember the 80s movie.
I like that one. And there's like a movie about making that movie because it was really hard to get done or something for some reason.
Well, that one is almost like I watched that and I feel like we're visiting the lake house in Maine.
Pet Cemetery?
Because it was shot in that cemetery. I know that's not the
Oh,
same location, but it reminds me of visiting Maine.
Mount Hope.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Pet Cemetery and something else is in that cemetery, wasn't it? That's where he used to walk through to get his name. It's funny. You can see Gage's grave.
Carrie, yeah,
Carrie, yeah. That's
Georgie,
what I meant,
yeah.
not Gage, Georgie's grave, yeah. Anyway, so Bobby, we meet Bobby Anderson who trips on a piece of metal that for some reason is sticking out when it never has before. Anyway, what does it say for one of a shoe, for one of a left turn on the path, the kingdom's lost or something? Uh,
There's a lot of religious references in this book, which I'm like, are you religious or not?
I think he was going to.
I feel like again the older stuff I forget like he leaned into it heavy in the older stuff and then it becomes like the white. So it just throws me off to see like religious quotes.
It's like the white's like a cop out. It's like him go, I don't fucking know, like something like the other side, whatever that is.
The good one.
Good
Right.
versus evil.
The
Light
opposite of
versus dark.
flag. And then we kind of leave Bobby. I don't know, I guess her dog starts acting weird and she starts losing teeth. Um, and Peter won't go anywhere near the ship or something and he maybe pass. Oh no. And then before we leave Bobby, Peter has cataracts, right? And he, starts
Oh yeah, but they start healing.
getting, they
Yeah.
start getting better as, yeah, the longer she digs and Peter starts feeling better for some reason. And then we go to Guard, I guess Guard is what I did remember about this book was like starting off the Guard parts were long and kind of hard to get through.
Hmm.
Um, and
I
while
see.
the shit he does is funny and it cracks me up, it's not like, it's hard. Takes a while to get, I feel like I've been reading this the entire time and like I've been behind the entire time. Like it's just not moving for some reason, but I'm into it. It's not like I don't like it. It just doesn't go fast.
Well, the last section that we read to me was a way different pace. I was like, all right, let's go. Like every time it was on to the next section, I'm like, I'm in.
Yeah. Once the weirdness hits, then it starts to move, but it's the start. It's like that, the
Yeah.
first 100-page rule. Well, this is like 400 pages in, but, well, like when you meet Gardner and all his drunken escapades, like that part's a little, it's funny, but long to read. You kind of have to suffer through it. I don't know. Maybe because he was drunk and rambling, and maybe it's the way he wrote it. Because usually it's not that hard. Like usually I follow his characters and I can't wait to see what they do. And the shit he did was like, well, I mean, on the surface funny, but actually kind of awful. But I think he gave a guy a heart attack. Uh, Poked him with the umbrella sitting in the coat rack, I think, or something like that.
Yes,
And just,
chasing him with the umbrella.
yeah, sitting in there in his Zorro pose, like, I'm God. Makes me wonder, what kind of craziness like how much of this is autobiographical? Did he have like a buddy he hung out with and they got in all kind of escapades? So anyway, we get through Guard and he, instead of killing himself, decides to go save Bobby. I don't know. He can't even save himself. I'm not sure why he thinks he can save someone else.
I didn't think about it, but like that was like the first use of her like using the telepathy, right? Was when she like called out and was like, I need your help or whatever.
Did she do that?
Yeah, that's why he went there.
I mean,
He was about to
are we
jump off the
saying that,
bridge.
oh, I didn't take it that way. I just thought I take it as like a Tommyknocker thing. He just thought like he had like a strong intuition she was in trouble and he had to go check before he killed himself. Not that
I
she sent him an actual message.
I have to find it, but I think she did because he gets there and she's like, "You got my message, right?" Like something like that.
Yeah,
Oh,
she did say that. I didn't know if that was actually intentional on her part, though.
Sending it?
Yeah.
I agree. I don't know if it was intentional or not. That was kind of the point I was getting to is if that was the Tommyknockers power, like that assuming that he's going to be the one to save the day or whatever, it's a Stephen King book, so probably not, but um they
Uh,
wouldn't do themselves any favor by having her reach out to him. So that's got to be purely by accident.
well, and I don't know because he, him arriving there when he did is basically the only reason she's alive because she was working herself to death.
Well,
Yeah, what
I
was
mean,
the Tom?
I feel like they would have found a way around that. Like they just use another person, or they'd have somebody else and come and one of the other guys come and take her place.
What was the plan? To
Maybe.
just kill everybody? Because she would have been dead if he hadn't shown up. So
I agree.
that
Well, so one, that's why I think her subconscious was calling out to help for him without realizing it, and then two, I still don't think it matters. I mean, I'm gonna trust that they have a plan that is beyond me because they seem a lot smarter.
on the other hand, as far as we know, these things are dead and have been dead for millions and billions of years. And
But
this
why
is
do we
just
know
like,
that?
this is, well, we don't know that, but it's kind of what we're being led to believe, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, uh, and this is just like the residual fucking shit falling off their like feet that is causing all of it. This is just like a tiny side effect of billion-year-old residue.
But the side effect, I guess, unless it's like, it has to be like a virus then, because it's not just like they're not all just getting ideas. They're all transforming. They're becoming one. They're becoming a hive mind.
Yeah.
It's
I
not just like
think,
spraying onto them. It is, but it's doing more.
yeah, I mean, it's invading well, it's getting, yeah, the town, the town's where it starts to get interesting, but also long.
Yeah. Yeah, that I did not need all that town information.
Well,
You know
I was
what?
thinking about, yes, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I'm looking for that quote, and I literally saw it mentions the word "ka." I was like, damn, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and
Right.
Underwood. Everyone always types on Underwood in his book. That's another like blue chambray work shirt. I don't know what I mean, well, I haven't seen a typewriter in 30 years at this point, so I wouldn't, I think barrel number 2 pencil, that was the one that George Stark in the Dark Half needed to have.
Okay, so it's not. I'll just read what it says. This is Gardner, like when he's about to jump, and then he gets the thought. Uh, then for the first time, the thought came through with no soundproofing around it. It came through as loud and urgent as a fire bell in the night. Bobby's in trouble. Bobby's in real trouble. So it's not. Yeah, that's not her. That's like him realizing because he can hear her thoughts somehow. I guess because she's sending them to him.
Yeah, it just felt like intuition, like he just thinks she's in trouble and
Well, no, he literally, so that paragraph before, he even knew what she was thinking about. He discovered something in the woods, it was something she had found in the woods. Bobby was in Haven trying to decide what the thing might be and why she felt so tired. Like he's literally reading her mind.
that seems kind of specific, yeah. Um,
And that's
yeah,
got to be
maybe it's
from
an
the
accidental,
Tommyknockers.
transmission.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess, I guess the point in all this is he's so low, she's the one person he actually cares about. So if she is in trouble, he's got to go make sure she's okay before he kills himself, which is so many things wrong with that.
Well, maybe he'll change his mind by then.
I guess that's what we're hoping, right? This is our character arc here. Maybe a
he,
whole,
he really does remind me of Callahan now that I think about it. Just like a lost, wayward drunk.
he kind of does. I like Gardner. I wish there was more Gardner.
I agree. I
Yeah.
like his what's the word? Like anarchism sort of.
I love how they calls everything the Dallas police. Shit cracks me
I know, I laugh every time I see that. I'm like, stop
up.
it.
Like we're gonna end up doing that. We're like, oh, that's the Dallas police. We're like, oh, like, that just
We
means, conspiracy. It could mean all kind of
right.
things.
Right. I do like it. So yeah, I probably will start saying that.
Like that's I can see him saying that to Tabby. Oh, Dallas police.
Like every time something goes wrong, you're like, well, Dallas police.
Uh-huh. Government cover up. Like 9/11 was fake. Dallas police.
In
Oh
his
gosh.
mind, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, just 9/11 was fake. Never. I actually have not heard that one before.
Oh,
Oh, well, I've heard that nobody died. I've heard they did it
well,
on purpose.
right. Yeah, there's lots of
Maybe not fake, but,
conspiracies.
staged.
There's also the
Like they
one,
knew,
right? Well, there's two different ones. There's that the government set it up, and then there's that the government knew and let it happen.
Oh,
yeah, the building shouldn't have, there was no reason for the buildings to fall, but because of some
Yeah,
conspiracy, this or that, they let it happen or something.
they were like, well, also I saw one dumb one. I was like, the way that they collapsed would only have been possible if it was a demolition. I was like, that's how buildings fall, you idiot.
Yeah. There's actually a thing on Nat Geo that I watched. It's like the road to, is it Nat Geo? It's on something. Max somewhere. I don't know. All these things are so crossed over. I don't know what I'm watching.
It
I think it's on Max, but I think it's Nat. Is that Geo on Max or
doesn't
Disney? It's
matter.
on
What is
Disney.
it?
It's called The Road to 9/11. I think it was actually on the History Channel at one point. And it goes like 10 years before it started. It goes like way back to the very like beginnings of the
Oh yeah.
seeds of like the terror groups, and like just tells you how it built and built and built and all the places we blew it. I mean, that's not their
I
intent, but that you can kind of like, oh, we could have stopped it then, but it just
Well,
shows
there is
you the,
also there's so many that they do stop as well. It's like obviously you're gonna hear about the ones that they can't stop though,
right.
and
yeah.
that they
I know.
don't.
You don't get
I
famous if you stop them.
I took a class. I mean, my concentration, like it's my degree's in criminology, but my concentration is in homeland security. So I took a bunch of classes on this stuff, and that was definitely news to me as well. I was like, oh my God, this goes back a long time.
Yeah, it's crazy. Anyway, yeah, so anyone that says like, well, they did it on purpose, like you fucking idiot. You just don't know what you're talking about. So what, moon landing was fake. Maybe that's what I was thinking.
Oh, that's the one. I talked to so many people my age who were like, "Yeah, I actually believe that now." I'm like, "For what reason?
The
Why would they
flag was
even
blowing
do
in the
that?"
wind. My God.
Then somebody recently was like, "Well, how come we haven't been back since?" I'm like, "Oh my God, there's first of all, we're going back and like, it's expensive. It's not worth it. It risks people's lives. Like we have drones that can do it now. Whatever. We don't need to get
I
into
mean, you
this,
don't do it just for the hell of it. Like, what are you
but
doing tomorrow? Let's go to the moon.
I
They
just
may get
hate
to that point in 200 years. Yeah.
I
Well, I mean, how can you have a moon when the earth is flat? It just doesn't make sense.
just
That's how you know it was fake. Uh,
because they know anything about any of the things that are in space, including themselves.
yeah. Do you know anything about anything?
For a side note,
So,
before we get back into it, I don't know how I have to fact check this, but on Wikipedia, the Knacker, or the Tommyknocker, is a mythical subterranean gnome-like creature in Cornish and Devon folklore. Closely related to the leprechaun, it's a little person with a disproportionately large head, long arms, wrinkled skin, and white whiskers.
wow, I've never heard that.
Me neither.
Because I thought Stephen King more or less made it up. Because I was going to say, like, now you see, like, at, like, Halloween, like, Tommyknocker exhibits everywhere, and I was giving him all the credit for that, but maybe I shouldn't be doing that.
In the 1820s, immigrant Welsh and Cornish miners brought tales of the Tommyknockers and their theft of unwatched items and warning knocks to what? What does that mean? Warning knocks, like they're coming to Western Pennsylvania, so it's
Yeah,
nearby.
that's the poem, isn't it, in the book? Tommyknockers knocking at the door.
I wonder if
Something.
I thought he made that up.
Well,
So
that was what I was asking. Like, how much of this is just him repurposing something he heard?
Yeah, I definitely didn't think they were real. It's creepy.
well, I
Yeah, they
don't think they're
sound creepy.
real, but I
Well,
think that that initial, because even at the start of the book, he was in the little like forward thing that he does. The very last section says, Haven is not real, the characters are not real. This is a work of fiction with one exception. The Tommyknockers are real. If you think I'm kidding, you missed the nightly news.
damn, I didn't remember
I don't
that.
even know, what does that mean? That's like, that sounds like a commentary.
I
Just
mean, it
judge.
probably is, but like he didn't make up that last night and the night before Tommyknockers knocking at the door.
He
Yeah.
didn't. Okay.
No.
Yeah, I
Well,
mean,
it does
I
sound
didn't think
creepy.
that they were real, like the creatures are real. I just thought that he had made up the name entirely.
Yeah, it's very Freddy-like. Like 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you.
hmm And I hate like the whole. It kind of reminds me of the reason why I don't like plant horror is I hate the idea of like a
Yeah.
plant merging with my body in any way. And so
That's
this
just,
this hits that same nerve where I'm like, get away from me, leave me alone, get out of my mind, don't touch me.
yeah, two of our favorite movies, right?
I know, I
Uh,
know. Oh,
The Ruins and what's the one with the bear that's like part of them? Uh,
Annihilation?
yeah, yeah. Where the
Yeah.
DNA starts merging with the plants. I mean,
Mhm.
no spoiler alert. Um, yeah, something about yeah, like looking down and like seeing like something crawling through your veins. Like, no, I can't do it. No.
Ew.
About looking down and seeing tentacles come out of your crotch.
Or looking
Uh,
at your face and seeing your tongue.
Blech.
it seemed okay. So Gardner's drunk and he shows up to help Bobby, and then we go to the town, and we kind of don't go back to Bobby
For a
or
long
Gardner
time.
for that matter for a long time.
I feel like we'd never go back to her. She's gone.
Well, she's back, but we never, do we ever get her perspective again? It doesn't seem like it.
Not yet, at
I
least.
no, there was one I couldn't tell if it was the narrator or if it was her thinking that, but it wasn't specific enough for me to be like, yeah, that was her.
Like, love me. If you love me, then love me.
The a
Uh,
lot of the I mean, I know it's been a while or 2 weeks since I've read it now too, but I feel like a lot of that town I know he loves giving us random backstories and then taking them away or doing whatever, but I think I feel like we don't really need a lot of these characters. We don't need to know about them.
Yeah.
well,
He tells us like the backstory for almost the entire town, and I'm like, why do we care?
Yep, that's how I feel.
he
Well, so,
knows. He can't
so
answer that because he don't remember doing it.
uh, the very first story in the Haven part with the Paulsons, I know that was a short story, and granted, I don't know if the short story came before or after Tommyknockers, but I'm like, we never see them again, so why do we care? Like, why did this need to be included in this book?
Yeah, like our
What do you
only
mean it was a short
connection.
story? Like in something else?
Yeah, so there's a book it's a horror anthology from like I think the 80s called I Shudder at Your Touch, and the Rebecca Paulson story is in that.
I didn't know
Just,
that.
they don't explain like, they
I
just
mean, it
pull,
doesn't
I don't know. I don't know what, I feel like that
I
story
don't
it
makes
even
no
doesn't
sense
remember.
on its own.
well, it doesn't go into Tommyknockers. That so in that short story, she shot herself in the head and like it didn't
Hold
kill her, it didn't bleed. But she started hearing Jesus talking to her from the TV.
Oh,
So it was a little bit different, but the essence of it is similar enough that it's like basically the same story.
how'd they get out? The
Ooh.
dogs got out.
Oh no.
Uh, yeah, a little neighbor dog. It's about 1 foot tall. Was terrorized under the car. They were going after it.
Oh,
Or not going after it, but
oh God.
you know how Fred plays by biting stuff.
Yeah.
oh no.
Well, no, it's fine. So I'll have to watch. I have to secure the gate better, I think. I usually don't, do that. So anyway, okay, they're in the house now and you're leaving? Okay. Did you yell at him for me? What did you yell?
So
Okay. Tell me details later.
let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
Okay, so I went back to look at that story real quick. I totally forgot. She thought Jesus was talking to her the whole time. So that would make sense. Like that
Yeah.
story could
Yeah, but
stand out
like,
on its own.
we know why it was Jesus. Why is it Jesus in a short story? She's just
It doesn't
insane.
really matter. Who cares? Yeah. There's a lot of
Yeah.
religious nuts
Okay.
out there.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess it works that way. She's just insane. And Jesus started talking to her. Or maybe Jesus was
Unfortunately,
really talking to her.
stories like this have happened. So
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. I'm not sure. I don't, that story seemed familiar, especially the names. Like, I just assumed that they were in another Stephen King, like Castle Rock story or something that I'd heard them before.
Like, if anything, fine. I'll take that story because it was kind of interesting. And I guess Hilly Brown too. But like, I don't
Well, I think, the reason this was long is because he usually doesn't, like, when he does the towns in these books, he doesn't stay in the town. He goes back and forth. Like, we'll do a town segment and then go back to like the protagonist and
Yeah.
stay with them and then go to them and then do a town segment. So it's like every 3 chapters, not
know. That's a good
200
point.
straight pages of nothing but town.
Yeah.
Uh, and, I guess they all felt like they just dragged on a little too far. Like they should have stopped before they did all the town parts.
Just so too much. I mean, I know he's the king of detail, but like way too much. I don't care. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, and I think we just need like 10 pages of "We love you, Ruth," not
hmm
100.
I agree.
I think quite, I don't, was that just like their cover story, what they told people? Like what was the whole "we love you" thing? We're going to murder you because we love you.
I
Well,
think
they didn't
it's.
murder her. She ended up killing herself.
We all know what would have happened.
I see
Well,
it.
Well, that's the thing. I guess they wouldn't have because she was, becoming as well, but, uh,
she was just fighting it.
she
I think
was,
it's
yeah,
equal parts cover and also like the just creepy like cultness of it. It's like, no,
yeah, so
Ruth, we
like,
love you, Ruth.
like Village of the Damned or something, felt like.
Oh,
It did definitely make it creepy.
her part, yeah. I mean, that whole like knowing that your whole town is turning against you. It's kind of like Salem's Lot.
Oh my God. Did
Yeah.
anybody not think of Goosebumps when Doll started talking to him?
Oh,
Uh,
yeah. I mean, that's what sucks about talking dolls is it could be anything. They're just creepy. It could be aliens, it could be ghosts, it could be remnants left over from aliens, maybe. Who cares?
I just watched The
or,
Simpsons where it was robots.
no.
Yeah, AI.
Yeah.
And
Oh, I was watching Simpsons yesterday, Amber. I was going to send you an episode that, like, the guy's trying to kill him and he tells him why. He spends 10 minutes telling them why he's smarter than them. And, they're like, well, he quotes Shakespeare in the middle of, like, Shakespeare said, blah, 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 blah. And like, he's about to kill Lisa. And she's like, well, you got it all right except for that one part. Actually, what Shakespeare said was this. And they got an argument whether the quote was right or wrong. I don't know. Like, well, that's such like a melon thing that would happen.
Uh-huh.
We would be on a deathbed arguing whether what you said was right or wrong.
Well,
Uh,
I would. Yeah, I guess you can't Google. I don't know. I'm like, can that not be fact checked?
it, well, that's where the scene ended. Instead of killing her, he went into the other room to like get the book and like check to see who was right. Um, or like that's like, it reminds me of my family. Calling up ex-teachers on Facebook. Well, by the way, my brother went to, and I haven't heard how it was yet, Paranormal Cirque du Soleil, yesterday. Yep.
interesting.
Interesting.
Does that just mean they all dress up like dead people and do the thing? I'm not sure.
I was gonna say that's a pretty big
Maybe.
promise because I better see some paranormal stuff.
Right? I don't know. Yeah, I want the weirdness to begin. So, yeah, so book 2 is when the weirdness begins. Uh, Becca has, well, Joe Paulson's not a great guy. Uh,
They never are, mate.
yeah,
I'm
yeah, he
kidding.
has
That's
some.
not a joke.
Some dickheads. Well, none of them are great, no matter what sex they are or aren't, because they're becoming something that's both, I think. None.
Or nothing, yeah.
Yeah.
Just tentacles instead. Yeah, I wouldn't be, that doesn't make me happy. No, don't think I'd like that. So anyway, Jesus tells Becca that Joe's cheating on her and, um, Nancy builds. See, these things are like, I don't know, they have like the greatest ideas in the world, but they all kind of seem to turn bad. So like one of the side effects of like their sweat is they all have the greatest ideas that like, but what does he say at one point? Like even one of these little minor ideas would like save the world in so many ways or something. And they're all having them all the time. People, even people that just like drive through, I forget who it was. There's like two people, I think, that like figure out how to like save mankind while they were driving through Haven without even stopping.
And they immediately
So
forgot when they left the town.
yeah, so it's almost like there's good and bad, but then like the good
Well,
even all seems to be uh bad also.
it reminds me of like a lot of like magical stuff, like charm specifically is what I'm thinking of. If you're not, if something is super powerful and it's not meant for you, you will not be able to handle it. It will destroy you, no matter how good it may feel at first. And so that's
Yeah,
what
that's a
it
good
reminds
point.
me of.
Oh, see,
Yeah.
everything I knew I learned on Charmed.
Well, that's what it feels like.
Uh, I mean, it's a good point. How did Joe die? Becca hatching him or something? I forget what she did.
She blew up the TV.
Oh, all right. Right.
He went to turn off a football game and it gave him like a super,
Oh,
super
okay.
hard shock or something.
And Nancy built a weird post office machine, sorting machine.
Yeah.
And then we go to Hilly Brown, and that's who I remember from when I was like 18 reading this. Fucking David's on Altair 4. Like, oh God. I think I need a shirt. I need something that says Altair 4 on it.
Or like free David from Altair 4.
Right? Free David Brown. Save David Brown.
Definitely reading his section and then later on, I guess is how you pronounce it, when he's like looking for him and stuff, it reminds me a lot of Stranger Things. So I wonder if they took any inspiration from this story.
Well, they're admittedly huge fans, aren't they?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Believe so, yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's why it feels like a Stephen King, and it's Spielberg and King where they're like influences, they said. So Stranger Things feels like both of them together.
Yeah.
Um, but I remember, like, yeah, this is the part I remember because it was creepy. Because the kid, Hilly is, an interesting, he just, I mean, he's a kid, I guess, to the extreme. He just goes and doesn't think about what's going to happen. So, like, all he knew was that he was doing this magic trick that he'd been working on, and he was really making shit disappear, but nobody fucking believed him, and it was pissing him off. Nobody was clapping. Nobody was, going, oh my God, wow. So he's like, okay, I'll show you. Come here, David. And David's like a dog with its tail between his legs. Like, I don't want
No, poor kid.
to. I would fuck, I'm gonna fuck you, Hilly. This is where we draw the line. But I guess not. If I was 5 and he was my older brother, I guess I would have done what he told me. Maybe he should have, again, he's a kid. Like, maybe he should have thought of where he was going before you started. Just, do you ever get anything back from when did we do some test? Did we send a banana
Yeah.
or an
That was
orange
my
or
thought
anything?
was, is anything
Well, they
coming
sent,
back?
Like, did you
I
tie
mean,
anything to a string and like, poltergeist style, like throw it through and see what happens?
he was doing the test because everything else worked. It's just nothing else was alive.
But
Right.
like,
That's important, stipulation, I think.
yeah.
Take a inchworm, maybe. We'll start small.
Ugh.
Or just not use it. Don't send any, I mean, he built a thing with his circuit board from his fucking Mister or something. I can't remember. But, and I was hoping this because they keep telling me how David can't breathe. And I'm like, okay, well, that can only last so long. And we're
Yeah.
talking maybe a minute or two.
Oh, he's
And
got
then
this.
somewhere halfway through, they finally said time moves differently. And so he's been there
Right.
like 4 seconds. I'm like, okay, I can get with that.
So he's fine
Uh,
then. He's got
yeah.
time.
So we got all kinds of time. 4 seconds in like what? 3 months? Shit, we're good. And I like how everyone in the town knew he wasn't there, but they were all out looking anyway. Okay.
Yeah.
Like
Uh,
the callousness of like when David or when yeah, no, when Hilly like said David is on Altair 4 and then they heard it, they were like, "Oh, well we could probably go get him. Should we do that? They're like, no, best not. Like, okay.
Yeah. I was like, how do you, it's a like 4-year-old kid. How do you not go save him? Like, your humanity is definitely gone.
Yeah,
Like,
because there would be too many questions now. Like, where did he come from? And they didn't want anybody asking questions.
Yeah.
yeah.
Everyone's used to him being disappeared. Like Guard said, why did they bury the fucking car? For one reason.
Yeah, that's
For
scary
him.
too. For some
Yeah.
reason, like I knew Sissy wasn't gonna be in there, but I was half expecting him to see her body in there.
We know where Sissy is.
Yeah,
That's why,
yeah.
that's why we stopped where we did.
Oh, same place where Peter is, and I'm gonna cry reading this next section.
I know. He doesn't, treat animals very well. Never seems to end too well for them.
Well, he
Like
doesn't
in,
treat all his people well either.
yeah, well, I don't care about them. They're characters. Uh, like Oi and I can't remember right now. There was a bunch of them.
Oh my
The
God,
animals in that cemetery, Cujo.
what's
Kojak is the only one that
Kojak?
made
There
it
we go.
through.
He still got
Kojak.
Well,
destroyed, but he lived.
who?
Kojak
Oh,
got
well,
torn
yeah, he's a
apart.
good one. He, you know, as far as king animals go, Kojak got off pretty good.
Yeah, because he's alive, but he still got nearly killed by the coyote or the wolves.
Well, you can only get killed once. You can get nearly killed a bunch of times.
Okay. Well, you go try it and tell me how you like it.
Pretty sure I've been near, I know. I've been close. Uh, so, um, Philly does his magic trick because he's pissed off. David disappears and they go looking for him. I like how they don't know because they don't like feel him. David's just, he's just, what do they say? He's just not there. They're like, ooh, that's creepier than like anything. It's the way he like said that. Like, there's no transmission.
Yeah.
Uh, and I think, and that's kind of it for the hilly part, right?
Yeah, basically.
Um,
Is that
trying to
supposed to
read what
be
I
like?
highlighted.
Yeah. I haven't really thought about that, but like, is that where the aliens are from, or are they? Like, is it an It's like I'm assuming it's some kind of alternate dimension because like, what's his name opened like a portal, kind of to send him there. uh,
Who?
but
Oh,
Oh yeah, the guy
Hilly?
who was mad at the other guy about cheating.
Oh, Newton,
yeah,
oh, that was funny. He's like, well, we mentioned this because it sticks out. So check this out.
yeah. uh,
Like, you
but
know, some of that shit was that I was into it at that point. I was like, oh,
that's what I mean. I was much faster paced at that point.
Yeah.
But like it also reminds me of like Revival when they like go to hell. Like is this just a place where humans can't survive or like what
well, yeah. I mean, is that their home planet? What is Altair for?
right, I guess that's my question, yeah.
Is that like where they send like the prison population? Is that where jail is? Altair?
Right, right.
It kind of seemed that way because they were like in that section where they opened the portal to Altair 4. They were like, this is where, everything gets sent that's a waste or something.
Oh, damn.
And I was like,
Yeah,
so you
so
send
Right.
a 4-year-old
So
child there.
they drop you there and say, good luck. Can I get like a pocket knife or something?
well you need air, it
It,
sounds like.
it looked like the surface of a harsh, dead world. The gray earth was dry and cold. Cracks gaped like dead reptilian mouse.
All of
It
that
sounds like
was reminding me of Stranger Things, like straight up the shoot, what do they call that? The under, can't remember.
oh, did they?
In like
The
season
upside
one, the
down.
upside down. There you
Ups,
go.
yeah, upside down. Oh, I thought you were talking about in the book.
That section you just read reminds me of the upside down or whatever, because this came first.
Makes me think of the wastelands. When they're
Uh,
in,
Does make me think of the Wastelands, yeah.
it does, but the thing is, the wastelands only became that way because of all of the whatever happened there, war and evil shit. I don't think the wastelands would have been like a purgatory without that happening. Like
yeah,
Fair.
this
well, you
specifically
know,
feels like a bad place no matter what.
what do we know about Altair 4? Maybe they started good.
Maybe.
Shit went bad. Uh,
Very possible.
so, where am I? Phillies,
Not on Altair 4.
Philly, what's been, no, because, time would be going much slower. I would live much longer if I was on. And, the podcast, everybody say bye.
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 Bye.